don't fear that AI is going to replace you. A tool can actually help that without removing the human element.
What would you say to another founder or team considering building custom AI tools around their methodology or internal workflows?
If impact is what's most important, these tools are going to help you really unlock that at a whole new level.
Hey, it's Ian. In this video, you're going to hear a conversation that I had with Chloe Scott, the co-founder and director of operations at Cultureful, a workplace transformation company that helps organizations build stronger cultures through diagnostics, coaching, consulting, and their culture fulfillment methodology. Over the past few months, I've been working with the team at Cultureful to build a custom ecosystem of AI tools and systems that have been designed to help their internal team deliver their services more effectively, efficiently, and of higher quality, and also tools that we built that their clients are now using and engaging with to help them get a better experience in working with Cultureful and getting the results and transformation that their program promises. In this conversation, Chloe shares why she decided to invest in these tools, what the experience in working with us and our team has been like, and how they see them impacting the future of their business. So let's jump in. Chloe, thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So Chloe, I just want to spend some time talk to you about your experience in our working together. So first question that I have for you is, before we started working together, what was going on inside Cultureful that made the tools that we're building together feel like the right next step for you and the team?
Yeah, well, of course, just in the environment as well, there was a lot of this movement towards just AI tools in general. And I think in the coaching world, people are looking a lot now to doing DIY solutions using AI, right? And so from that standpoint, we definitely wanted solutions that created like a hybrid experience so people could still have maybe a more affordable way to engage with a culture transformation project, but not remove the human element entirely, right? So that was definitely a desire. And then, of course, we are a lean, team. And so we're always looking for ways to improve our processes, save ourselves time. And that, I think, is also very important to be able to empower us to affect more people and impact more companies. So kind of those two aspects, wanting to really stay present and engaged in this new transitioning workforce, but also empower ourselves to be able to accomplish more, work with more companies by streamlining our processes and saving ourselves time in some tasks that don't necessarily need a lot of our own, menial task work directly.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I know you mentioned a few in there, like the efficiency, saving time, being able to scale the level of impact that you have, or being able to impact more companies while keeping a lean team. But were there any more specific things that you were hoping that these tools would help Cultureful do, either internally or for your clients?
Yes, I think, which actually came from after we talked with you, is Will has, or we released, my co-founder, Will Scott, has his own book that teaches people about this culture transformation process that he's created that we call Culture Fulfillment. And we think a lot of people have enjoyed reading the book, but not necessarily have a great way of then applying it. And particularly, we wanted a way that we can have a solution that encourages them to follow through more on execution, but still encourages them to work with their whole team and not just inspire like one individual to do this whole process on their own, which would not, reap the same results.
Yeah, absolutely. And in our building that out, something that I learned that I never even considered before we started doing this for other books is like, okay, you have other services that will be useful to users on their journey of going through the culture fulfillment process, the 9 deeds in 90 days. Check out the Culture Fix if you're watching this. Yeah, so like you're able to recommend other services that you offer to the users as they're engaging with this tool and going through the Culture Fix book.
Yes,
So not only are you
absolutely.
having a more engaged reader, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think it just, in that same respect, gives us more opportunity to connect with readers. We always have offered, like a resource page to readers and offer certain resources and services through that, but it's not the same, right? And it doesn't have this engagement side to it that makes someone kind of keep coming back. And I definitely think that was a big part of the book companion, is to not only make it more engaging, support them through their process, but then also make sure they're aware of other ways that they can improve their work in that.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So if we could think back to before we started working together, do you remember if you had any hesitations or concerns about this project?
Definitely, more so because of past experiences. Again, as a small team, I think we, have burned is maybe a strong word, but by previous kind of over promises in terms of how people can support our business. And we've made investments that did not kind of reap the same reward, or it was framed in a way that we'll do it for you, but then actually you have to do a lot of it yourself. And yeah, I just think that was not the case whatsoever working with you. I think you proved yourself very well at the beginning. And we were very proactive in finding the information you needed on your own versus like making a lot of work for us to build something for us.
Nice. Cool. I'm glad that that helped you out. From your perspective, so now you had those hesitations before the project began, but then what is the process in our working together been like for you throughout this building of everything out from your perspective?
I think it's been, honestly, it felt really much like a partnership in terms of strategy, ideas. I know you've been very generous as well, staying on calls with Will and I for way over the scheduled meeting time because we've just enjoyed strategizing, how these tools can help even more, whether our clients or our internal team, or even just being very flexible in terms of what we actually wanted the end product to be as well. I know we, had some original ideas of what we wanted the tools to be, but then as we've talked, as we learned, as we understood more what the capabilities of the tools were, they've definitely shifted. And so I've really appreciated your flexibility, but then also just your dedication to understanding our needs, understanding our business, and really following through. And again, as I said previously, not making a lot of work for ourselves either. I think it was really helpful that you took a lot of your own time to find the resources, get the information in a way that works for you. It was also just open as well to jump in, right? Like if I saw more opportunities of better knowledge files or, more information, I appreciated that it was easy to do that as well.
Cool. Amazing. Was there a moment in the project where you realized, okay, these tools are going to be really useful? If so, what happened? Like, what was that moment?
Definitely. I think I would speak more for Will on that side as well. I think going into it, I very much knew the capabilities, but I guess I didn't think through all the ways to apply, and that's where the discussions really helped for that. But I know Will had many aha moments of how much this could help. I think, too, one particular example was kind of the last tool that we decided to build, or it was like kind of an addition, was because we understood the more we understood how we can use and leverage these tools, the more we could see places that they could apply to other processes in the business. And I think at first we didn't think it was possible to have a tool that supported the coach themselves in the transformation journey, because it's very important to us to not remove, obviously, the coach's expertise and process in
Yeah.
that. But it was really great when we realized that a tool can actually help that without removing the human element. And it can really just help the coach through their own thought process, through framing their recommendations, definitely summarizing. I mean, part of our work, we take a lot of information and try to narrow it down. And so helping with that is huge and saves us lots of time and allows us to spend more of that time with the client and really have more guided and focused support in the process.
Cool. But yeah, I like what you said there. Like, never going to try and replace the coaching, but just trying to get more coaching out of the coaches. Like, let the coaches just spend more time with the clients and really want that to be as focused of time as possible. Like I try and think about the book companion, or we haven't gotten to these tools yet, but giving your clients tools that they can use to help them do the work so that when your coaches are meeting with them, they can just focus on doing the coaching and not having to keep dragging them along to do the exact same things over and over again, or trying to do the work with them while they're on the call. It's like, no, now we can
Yeah.
spend time, the coach can spend time refining and just going deeper and spending more time coaching, right? And that's what I hope
Yeah.
all of these tools do.
And the client as well, because I think in our most recent session, we discovered too, we can kind of make guided homework or assignment support in our current process. Like that came from kind of in many coaching calls, reminding the teams of what the process is and making a lot of one pagers to guide them through, give them lots of inspo decks, that show other
Mhm.
examples. But I think with that progression, we now identified, oh, we can actually save even the client time when it comes to developing these key elements to their cultural definition or their culture tools by just making sure it's like they're really guiding them. And then that leaves space for the coaching calls to just be on feedback and refining and moving forward instead of spending the time kind of workshopping, which isn't always the best use of time.
Yeah. Right. I mean, the workshopping can create some great moments, and like some really nice insights, but that workshopping can still happen like in the feedback and like in the refinement process. Like it's almost harder to
Exactly.
get to that first draft a lot of times.
Yes.
So from my perspective, right, but I'm not the one doing this with clients every single day. I would just want the impact of these tools, like specifically the ones the clients would use to help them do the work that's assigned to them, is just everybody has a much better experience, like a higher quality experience. Like they get higher quality outputs, right? They get higher quality core vals, like a better core purpose. Like they just have higher quality outputs that are more closely aligned to the true culture of their organization. So then they just get better results, right? They get better outcomes, which then leads to
Yeah.
more satisfied customers. I don't know. Is that something that you're seeing or hoping for?
Definitely, definitely hoping for, and we've just launched like 5 projects. It's in a new region as well, so it's even more important. We just expanded to the Middle East, so it's very exciting to have these tools when we're working in multiple languages. That's another really hard part for coaches, right? Is taking information in different languages and kind of creating those patterns. So yes, exactly that. I think, and as things go more digital as well, if we're doing workshops online or virtually, it really does allow, again, for using a tool to make sure we're not missing any of the data or ideas or things that came up in the workshops, which may have happened previously, but that really makes sure that we keep coming back to what was actually said and we're not just making things up. And actually, even with the book companion, I've loved. We actually heard from a coach who recommends the book to their own clients, and he specifically said how he loved that it did not just output generic culture content, but it actually was very specific in what the book actually talks about and even pushed back to make sure people were really refining unique core vowels and actually
Love it.
using their own language and input rather than just, here's your core vowels, use
Yeah.
integrity. Don't use integrity. Everyone
Right.
uses that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. And then AI would just be like, oh my God, you're totally right. Integrity is
exactly. No,
a
we don't
perfect fit
want
for your
the, you are
organization.
right.
Yeah.
We want,
Yeah.
how many people did you ask about this and how much input do you have from the team?
Right.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And even more accessible, I think, is a huge thing for us as well. I think, coaching, while I think the value, I'm always going to say the value is 100% there. And, coaches price their service and kind of programs at the rate that is what is the value that the client's going to get. Not all companies can afford that, right? Or have the ability to move forward with that. So these tools not only just whether it's helping us conserve resources and better apply them in certain projects, or like the book companion, just making it that much more accessible for a company who maybe wasn't ready for a full culture transformation experience, they can still be walked through the process, get the support, get what additional products, like maybe the culture clarity diagnostic that they need, but still have the ability to go through the process, maybe getting 1 or 2 coaching calls to get that feedback and more of that human coaching element, but they're still able to have access to the whole process and solution, which wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily available before.
Yeah, and really is the core purpose of your organization. Pardon the pun, that wasn't
Absolutely.
the idea. But is like the purpose of your organization is just help as many organizations thrive by, helping them transform their culture, right? Something along those lines. And like
Yeah,
this tool just feels like an extension of that, at least from my
yeah,
perspective. It's like, okay, this is way
absolutely.
more accessible and more people can experience this transformation, experience this change in their organization, whether it's on the DIY front, they just read the book, they do all the work that is required to do it themselves, or they want the skip button. They hire your team to come in and do so. Love it.
Yeah,
Okay, so what do you feel like this project has helped clarify, improve, or organize inside the business?
so much. Um, yes, again, being a lean team, a lot of our time has to be spent more outwardly or focused on the actions that need to happen. And therefore, I do think that results in not necessarily the most organized internal information in regards to processes, service, brand messaging, all of these things. And going through this process, it definitely helped us in 2 ways. One, just having better internal documentation. We actually brought on a new team member, and they're able to understand all elements of the business now because we have these files ready and the
Or yeah.
context there for them. But then, in addition, also just helping us streamline processes as well. Culture work is very custom, right? It's not a one size fits all. And that is always going to be the case. And we always want that to be the case. It's very important to take the time to customize not only the results, but the process for clients. That said, we were able to still connect the dots on like fundamentals that are the same and kind of streamline more that process in order to make sure like coaching call prep or post workshop follow up or the assignments that we give to communities and companies are just better organized and more clear, which also just helps us be consistent, maybe more consistent, but then also just deliver better results for those clients.
Hmm. Absolutely. So, what would you say to another founder or team considering building custom AI tools around their methodology or internal workflows?
Yeah, I guess first I would say don't wait. um, I definitely think now's the time. You're only looking at saving yourself and your team time and resources, which is vital in lean coaching businesses. But then in addition to that, I think don't fear that AI is going to replace you. Yes, we're going to go through this period where people are choosing the DIY route and trying to use these companions or sorry, just trying to use AI and GPTs to do the work for them and kind of go through that. But the human element and the human connection and coaching is so important, especially in this work, especially in anything improving businesses, right? Observation from coaches is vital, and AI is not able to do that. And so if you embrace these tools, create tools that really empower yourself, but also your frameworks and your clients, you're not actually going to replace yourself. You're going to be ready when people realize they want the human element back. They don't want to do the DIY 100%. And you're going to be ready for that and able to support your clients and have greater success faster and more consistently as well.
Yeah, without sacrificing on the quality. I love what you said there about the human element of like the coach is going to be able to make these observations that AI will never be able to see. You're 100% correct.
Yes,
And also, like, if I'm just a regular everyday person using ChatGPT, like, how would I know to even consider to use it to help me in revitalizing the culture within my organization? Like, the point that I'm getting to is that your everyday person isn't even going to know the right questions that they need to ask themselves
exactly.
and into AI. let alone be able to evaluate what good or bad looks like, because we all know that AI is just going to say whatever you say is going to be good,
Yeah.
and just agree with you and be like, yeah, what do you mean? This is the best core values I think I've ever heard in my life. This is
Yes,
like the,
exactly.
uh,
Exactly. And it'll be
yeah,
what the CEO came up with on some solo retreat, and the
hmm
rest of the team is not going to be on board.
for
But I
sure.
also think so many coaches and companies and just many people in this space have their own expertise and their own methodologies, and there's no reason to hesitate on making a tool that captures that, because it's only going to make your work easier or allow you to impact more people. And if you're in this business, I know you care about impacting people way more than you care about other aspects of business and these things that drive people to work in general. So if impact is what's most important, these tools are going to help you really unlock that at a whole new level.
Bang, let's go. So I think that's probably the next question, but it's like, if you had to summarize the value of this project in one sentence, what would you say? And I feel like it would be pretty close to that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it
I'll
would be
throw
very
it out
close to
there.
that. I think it's probably, yeah, going to be pretty repetitive, but I think the biggest summary would be that taking this leap and using these tools is helping us, empowering us to achieve our core purpose, which is helping people love their work lives at a way greater scale without removing the biggest, most key part of all culture projects and processes, which is the human element. So yeah, I loved it, and I think I would highly recommend it to anyone.
Chloe, thank you so much for the time. Excited to keep working
You.
together.
Great.
Thank you for listening to my conversation with Chloe, and thank you to Chloe for taking the time. If you want to learn what we built for Cultureful would look like in your business, the execution infrastructure, click the link below to schedule your free blueprinting session. We'll learn more about your business, your program, your methodology, and identify the execution gaps, the full scope of the execution infrastructure that we can build in your program, and we'll deliver the full comprehensive blueprint to you after our conversation. Click the link below and schedule your blueprinting session. We'll see you there.